Ever feel like you're playing catch-up when listening to Americans talk fast?
Oh,
You're not alone.
definitely not.
We're diving into this fast American speech today.
We are.
And I've got an expert here to help us break it all down.
Absolutely.
Why does it sound like a whole other language?
Yeah.
And how can we start speaking more naturally ourselves?
Great questions.
Right,
It's
sure.
true American English. It has its own rules and shortcuts, and it can sound like a whirlwind
Right.
if you're not used to it.
Okay, so the source material mentions connected speech.
Right.
What is going on there?
Well, think of it this way. Americans, they value efficiency,
Right.
even in how they speak.
Uh-huh.
Connected speech, it's all about blending sounds,
Okay.
dropping syllables to make communication faster and smoother.
Like a shortcut.
It is. It's a shortcut.
So it's not just speed then.
Yeah.
It's the way the sounds actually change.
Exactly.
Morphing.
Yeah. And there are three main ways this happens: assimilation, elision, and linking.
Okay, those terms sound familiar from
Yeah.
Linguistics 101,
Sure.
but remind me how they work in practice.
Okay. Let's start with assimilation.
Okay.
So that's when sounds within or between words kind of melt together. Like, don't you becoming done, Chad?
Yeah.
The tin sound assimilates to the Y
Right.
to make a she sound. You hear it all the time in casual speech.
I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah,
Especially when Americans are speaking quickly.
of course.
What about elision?
Elision is all about dropping sounds.
Okay.
Think of I'm going to, which becomes I'm gonna.
Right.
The G sound in going just disappears, makes the phrase quicker and easier to say.
So we've got sounds morphing together, sounds vanishing.
Ugh.
What about this linking?
Linking happens when a word ending in a consonant sound bumps right up against a word starting with a vowel sound.
Uh-huh.
No pause, the sounds connect.
Okay.
Like pick up, it becomes pick up, almost like one word.
This is cool. I'm realizing that these are subtle things I've heard, but never really analyzed.
Makes sense.
No wonder it can be tricky to follow sometimes.
Right.
It's like there's a whole secret code.
That's a great analogy. Like any code, once you learn the key, it starts to make sense. That's where understanding these features comes in.
So awareness is step one.
It is.
But what can we actually do to get better?
Yeah.
Not just understand, but speak in this faster, more connected way.
Right.
The source material mentions shadowing,
Mm-hmm.
but how does that work?
Shadowing is like a pronunciation workout.
Okay.
So you listen to a native speaker,
Uh-huh.
try to repeat what they say as closely as possible,
Okay.
match their speed rhythm, even those subtle changes in sound
Oh, wow.
that we've been talking about.
So it's not just about repeating the words.
Right.
It's about like embodying the speech.
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
It can be really effective. One example from your source material was, is your cold getting any better?
Okay.
You can really hear those features in that one. Let's try it.
Okay.
Listen to how it sounds at normal speed. Is your cold getting any better?
Okay.
Now try repeating it,
Okay.
mimicking everything you hear.
Repeats the sentence, attempting to match the connected speech features.
Perfect.
I can see how doing this regularly would help attune your ear to these nuances.
Absolutely. And it also helps train your mouth to make those subtle adjustments
Right.
that native speakers do naturally. Let's try another.
Okay.
This time, focus on how the words blend together in the sentence. I'm going to get an Uber and go home.
Repeats the sentence, focusing on the connected speech. I'm starting to get a feel for it. It's like a dance.
It is a bit like a dance.
Yeah.
It's about finding that rhythm and flow
Yeah.
that makes American English sound so distinctive. Now imagine practicing this shadowing with different audio clips every day.
Okay.
It can make a huge difference in both comprehension and pronunciation.
Wow. Yeah. I'm already feeling more confident.
Yeah.
It seems like shadowing is really powerful for internalizing these features.
It really is. It's like osmosis.
Yeah.
But in addition to shadowing,
Yeah.
becoming familiar with common reductions
Okay.
can also help you unlock these secrets.
Reductions. You mean like slang?
Right.
Shortened words?
Yes.
Like-
going to becoming gun, want to becoming one, and got to becoming got.
All right.
These reductions are used all the time
Yeah.
in casual American English.
Those are classic. I could see how they would be confusing at first.
They can be,
Yeah.
but they're key to sounding more natural and fluent.
Okay.
And here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
By practicing these reductions,
Mm-hmm.
not only will you understand native speakers better,
Uh-huh.
but you'll also start to sound more natural and fluent yourself.
Oh, wow. So it's a two-way street.
It is.
Understanding these unlocks both comprehension and the speaking skills.
Ex-
I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
We've got the underlying mechanics like assimilation, illusion, and linking. And then we have techniques like shadowing and practicing these reductions
Right.
to really embody the flow.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's like building a multi-layered approach.
It is.
This is already so helpful.
Good.
But before we get too carried away with speaking,
Yeah.
let's not forget listening.
Oh, that's important.
Any tips for improving listening comprehension?
Sure.
Especially when faced with the fast talker.
Of course.
The source material had a few suggestions,
Okay.
but I'd love to hear your take.
Well, you're right. Listening is crucial. It's not just about hearing the words,
Right.
but actually processing and understanding them.
Uh-huh.
One of the best pieces of advice
Okay.
is to go beyond passive listening to active listening.
Okay.
So don't just let the sounds wash over you.
Right.
Consciously engage with what you're hearing.
So like be present and try to decipher the meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another tip is
Yeah.
to watch movies or TV shows with subtitles off first and then rewatch them with subtitles on.
Oh, that's interesting.
It challenges your listening skills, and then you can fill in any gaps
Yeah.
on the second watch.
That's a fantastic idea. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's great practice.
Turn watching movies into language learning.
It is.
Cool. And then, of course, nothing beats real-life conversations.
Oh, for sure.
The more you expose yourself to fast speech
Yeah.
in real settings,
Mm-hmm.
the more comfortable you become.
Exactly.
So it's all about practice and immersion. And I guess not being afraid to ask someone to slow down or repeat themselves.
No, yeah, of course. That's all part of it.
Yeah.
Most people are happy to accommodate,
Mm.
and you'd be surprised how much native speakers adjust their speech depending on who they're talking to.
It makes sense.
It's like a dance
Yeah. The dance.
between the speaker and the listener.
This is already so helpful.
I feel
Actually, I feel like I'm gaining a whole new understanding of this.
Very glad.
But before we wrap up this part,
Uh-huh.
you mentioned that mastering these nuances
Yeah,
could do more than just improve communication.
right.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. That's a great point. Beyond the practical benefits,
Mm-hmm.
understanding the way language is used
Yeah.
offers a deeper appreciation for the culture behind it.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Think about it.
Okay.
The way Americans use connected speech, the reductions, the slang,
Huh?
it all reflects something about their culture,
Yeah.
their pace of life,
Right.
their way of interacting with the world.
That's such a good point. It's not just the words themselves.
Yeah.
It's the cultural baggage.
It is, precisely. So as you delve deeper into this,
Yeah.
you're not just learning a skill.
Right.
You're getting a glimpse into the culture of the United States.
I love that. This is making me rethink language learning. It's not just grammar and vocabulary. It's
Right.
understanding the soul of a culture
Yes.
through its language.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so rewarding. It opens up new worlds.
This conversation has sparked a new level of curiosity in me.
That's great to hear.
I'm eager to dive in even deeper.
Me
But
too.
we're going to have to pause our deep dive here for now.
Okay.
Join us in part 2 as we continue to explore.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive.
It's amazing how much we've already learned,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling a lot more confident about tackling those fast talkers.
Good.
But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah. There's always more.
What other mysteries are we going to unravel today?
Well, one area that's often overlooked but is really crucial for understanding fast speech is intonation.
Intonation. You mean like the rise and fall of the voice, the way a sentence is delivered.
Exactly. It's like the music of language.
Mm-hmm.
And in American English, intonation plays a huge role
Oh,
in conveying meaning,
right.
especially in fast speech.
Okay.
A slight shift in tone
Mm-hmm.
can completely change how a sentence is interpreted.
Wow.
And native speakers do this without even thinking about it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how can I become more aware of these subtle shifts? It seems so instinctive.
It is for native speakers,
Yeah.
but you can learn it.
Okay.
One of the best ways to develop your awareness is through more shadowing.
Shadowing our friend. But this time,
Yeah.
instead of just focusing on the words,
Mm-hmm.
we're also tuning into the rise and fall.
Exactly. Try to mimic not just the pronunciation, but also the musicality.
Right.
Notice when their voice goes up at the end of a question,
Mhm.
or how they emphasize certain words to show emotion.
So it's like adding another layer.
Exactly.
I'm starting to realize that shadowing is not just about mimicking.
No.
It's more about bodying the nuances,
You got it.
like a method actor getting into character.
That's a great way to put it.
And as you practice this,
Yeah.
you start to notice things that you might not have before. And then once you're aware of them, you can start to incorporate them into your own speech,
Exactly.
making you sound even more natural.
More natural and more fluent.
So it's like we're training our ears and our voices to be more attuned to this.
Yeah, it's like learning a musical instrument where you have to pay attention to both the notes and the expression.
That's a great analogy.
And just like with an instrument, the more you practice,
Yeah.
the easier it gets. You'll be surprised how quickly you start to pick up on those cues and use them yourself.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with this fast speech.
I'm glad.
But is there anything else we should keep in mind about intonation?
I think.
Any pitfalls?
Well, one thing that can be tricky,
Like-
even for advanced learners, is sarcasm.
Oh, yeah.
Sarcasm relies a lot on intonation
Right.
to convey the opposite of what's being said.
Like when someone says, oh, that's just great. But their tone implies that they're actually annoyed.
Exactly. And if you don't understand the intonation,
Yeah.
you can easily misinterpret that
Right.
and take it literally.
Which could be awkward.
It should be.
But as you become more familiar with American intonation,
Right.
you start to pick up on the cues.
You do like a slightly exaggerated tone or a drawn-out delivery.
So it's not just the words.
It's not.
It's the unspoken message behind them.
Exactly.
It's like a secret language.
It is. And that's what makes language so fascinating. It's not just about information.
Right.
It's a reflection of our culture, our values,
Yeah.
our way of thinking, and understanding those cues can make you a better communicator.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
Me too.
I feel like I'm gaining a whole new perspective on language.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's not just about the rules. It's about the art of communication.
It is.
So where do we go from here? We've talked about connected speech,
Yeah.
shadowing intonation. What else can we do to master this fast speech?
One crucial aspect that we haven't talked about yet, and it's closely tied to intonation, is rhythm and stress.
Rhythm and stress. I can hear how some words are emphasized more than others.
Exactly.
It's going to be another fascinating thing to learn about.
It is. And that's what we'll be diving into in the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned, because we're going to uncover the secrets to sounding like a natural speaker of American English.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into this fast American speech. And I'm ready to tackle this rhythm and stress thing. I have to admit, I really haven't given it much thought before.
It's understandable.
But now I'm realizing it impacts the flow of speech so much.
Oh, it does. It's one of those things you don't notice until you start paying attention.
Right.
But once you become aware of rhythm and stress, it changes everything. It makes a huge difference in how natural someone sounds, especially when they're speaking quickly.
So let's break it down. What do we actually mean by rhythm and stress when we're talking about language? I know they're important in music, but how do they apply to speaking?
Well, think about music for a second.
Okay.
It has a beat, right? A flow. Certain notes are emphasized more than others.
Right.
Language is similar. It has its own rhythm.
Okay.
Certain words or syllables are stressed. Some are unstressed. That's what gives the language its energy, its musicality.
So it's not just about saying the words correctly.
No.
It's about delivering them with the right beat
Exactly.
and emphasis.
It's like dancing. You need the right steps and the right rhythm.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So in American English, the rhythm tends to be syllable timed,
It is.
which means that stressed syllables come at roughly equal intervals,
Right.
regardless of how many unstressed syllables are in between.
It's one of the things that gives American English its distinctive sound.
It sounds complicated. Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's take the sentence, I'm going to the store to buy some milk. Notice how those stressed syllables go, store, buy, and milk are spaced pretty evenly,
Okay.
even though there are different numbers of unstressed syllables between them.
I see. So it's like the stressed syllables set the pace, and the unstressed syllables just fill in the gaps.
They do, and that creates that smooth, flowing quality.
That I can't follow.
That's right. It can be hard to follow at first.
This is so interesting. It's making me listen to English in a whole new way.
I'm glad.
But how do we actually practice this? It seems so subtle.
Well, you know the answer, shadowing.
Of course.
As you're listening and repeating,
Yeah.
pay attention to which syllables the speaker is emphasizing.
Yeah.
Try tapping your foot or clapping along to the stressed syllables. Really feel that rhythm.
So we're turning language learning into music.
We are. And another tip is to exaggerate the stress patterns at first. It might feel a little weird, but it will help you learn.
Like when you're first learning to dance.
It is exact.
You exaggerate the movements.
Yeah, and then you gradually make them smaller and smoother.
So we've got this syllable-timed rhythm.
Right.
But how do we know which syllable to stress in a word?
That's a good question.
Sometimes it seems random.
It can seem that way because English pronunciation doesn't always follow strict rules.
Right.
But there are resources like online dictionaries that show you the phonetic transcription,
Okay.
including stress markers, so you can look up the correct stress pattern if you're not sure.
So we can cheat. I like it.
You can, and the more you listen to English, the better you'll get at feeling which syllable to stress. It'll become more natural.
This is amazing how all these pieces fit together.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
We've gone from connected speech to shadowing intonation, and now we're adding rhythm and stress. It's like we're building a toolkit.
You are, and the best part is all these elements work together.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you learn about one, the better you understand the others.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to understand fast American speech.
I'm so glad.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Just remember that language is always changing.
Okay.
So enjoy the process, be patient, and have fun learning.
I love that. To all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to jump in, experiment, and immerse yourself in the world of American English. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, happy listening and speaking.